Right, here we go. Yeah. Right, live event. Right, okay. 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 Let me just going to share a few people into the group. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Share. Share. Okay. What should be here? Okay. Copy. Right. Let's copy that.
There we go.
Right, here we go. So just get our numbers up a little bit more here at my end, so I can see people coming on now. So just nearly there. Just one more. Share to let's put it on here. Coronavirus group. Yeah, it's in a group. Okay, put it there. And my coronavirus group. Put on that one. And my coronavirus group. Showing a group. Okay.
There we go.
Right, fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'd like to apologise. Basically, we had a bit of an outage in our area in relation to the internet. So we're all back on now. Thank you very much for tuning in live with us this evening. I'm interviewing ultra talented events producer this evening, Jay Ben Sands, who's been in the business from a very, very young age, and Jay started doing kids discos. He's been an entertainer. He in village halls. He's built his way up to get a rather amazing reputation, really, and a portfolio behind him. He's now a fully bona fide event producer, and he's worked at the likes of the Dorchester, the London Film Museum, the Savoy, just to name a few, the House of Commons. The list can just literally go on and on and on. And he also is also involved in the hire as well of AV equipment in a very, very big way. So that's another sort of string to his bow. Based on what I've just said, Jay, first I would like to wish you once again a very good evening.
Thank you very much, and yeah, it's good to be here.
Thank you. Based on what I've just actually said, obviously describing you and your credentials, is there anything you'd like to add into that at all?
Look, as I think we, before the outage, what I do it because I love it, and that's always been the case with what I do, whether that was children's entertaining, all the way up to school discos, that sort of thing, even to today where we're producing, aside from the current situation, we're producing loads of events throughout the year, whether that's corporate Christmas parties, weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and everything under the sun, really. We really do assist with any event that people might be having as well.
Well, that's good. You sort of it's good that you're open-minded. So you've mentioned you're involved in special events, corporate events, parties, weddings. You'll produce whatever people require. So even I take it an office, they're having an office party. They've hired a venue, say in the city of London. You're going to that venue and you're decking out, and you'll do all the lighting, all the AV. You'll bring the supplies in and everything. Is that correct?
Well, that's just it. Look, we as I mentioned before, we have a 1,400 square foot warehouse. At the moment, obviously, all of the equipment and everything like that is with us, so we've got time to maintain that sort of stuff. But for me, it's really about when the events are going on, giving people that service, and a little bit of me as well. I think that's very important as well. So we like to let people know that we maintain high standards and things like that, but we really do adapt depending on the situation and depending on the event itself as well.
Well, yes, it sounds like that to me, actually, based on what you were actually saying. You're talking about you're happy to perform in a village hall, in a top hotel, literally wherever. You've got no boundaries. You've got no stigma attached to where you want to actually perform your services. It's all about the client and giving that client an extra bit of service, keeping the service top end, so that those people will keep recommending to you. They'll blog about you and everything. Am I right in saying that?
Well, that's exactly it. Look, I like, as I always say, you know, people buy from people. You know, when you pick up the phone, you call DJ Events, you're going to speak to me. And that's the most important thing about it is, you know, you've got that relationship with me, whether I'm actually physically DJing the event or the party planner or anything like that, coordinating the event. You have that little bit of me for that evening and everything leading up. So we almost experience that journey together. And I think that's a very, very important thing about doing what I do as well.
Well, that's right. It's always that extra bit of customer service, that personal service, that extra touch. That's what people love, that you're going to go the extra mile. People want to know you're offering them something extra. That is the thing. The extra is you. I mean, basically, am I right in saying, from what you've said, I think you'll agree with me that people do buy into people, don't they, really?
I think they really do, and I think that's a very important thing. Obviously, doing what I do, whether that's, you know, even down to, we do full production as well as, you know, so we could have 6 events running in a weekend. But every single client would have had at least some contact in some way with me. So whether that's, you know, even down to, right, we want to hire 2 speakers this weekend, you know, they've spoken to me, we've ran through how it's going to work, and we do that. Even down to obviously the full event planning where I meet with the client. We have a lot more, we get to know each other a lot better as well. And I think that's something that I take pride in, definitely. You know, depending on how we grow as well, I always want people to get that little bit of me and that bit of passion that I really try and show with everything I do, really.
Yeah, well, that's lovely to hear. You know, it's your passion that sort of carries you through. And as you say, you're into the agreement too, that people do buy into people. I mean, what's your take on it when it comes to are people in it for budget? So do you find across people are very, very budget orientated? They want the best prices, or they're looking more into quality? What would you say?
Well, I think, look, I think it really depends on the event itself. But obviously, I think it does come down to, it does come down to price in some elements, but that's not me saying that is the cutoff. I'm not saying, we don't have a minimum spend, for instance. We do not have a minimum spend because we own everything that goes into an event. We like to say we provide 90% of what goes into an event. And I think that's very important. Because then when people come to me and they go, look, we've got this to spend on our event, it's my job to, number one, maximize that and give them everything that they desire or as much as we can. But really, be able to aid them in as many ways as possible, because, people just want to have a good time. And that's what I see into as well.
Well, that's right. I mean, people they want to go along, they want to relax, and they want people who are professional, who are going to be in the background and who are going to make it for them one way or another, whether that's your production, your magician, your whoever else. You're all there to work as a team. Am I correct in that?
Well, that's exactly it. I typically say to my clients, look, I don't want you to walk in on the day of your event with a clipboard and start ticking off things that have happened, or, this person hasn't arrived, or this, that, and the other. I like to say, look, anything that we are providing for you, and that's even down to the event management side of things as well. Anything that we are providing for you, we will give it 100% and make sure that everything that we've said will happen will happen. We've also had cases as well where the British weather, at sort of winter time, you get all the snow and that sort of stuff. We like to make sure, there's a lot of people who go, we don't work in snow. If we can get something and we can make it happen, we will make it happen. And we will we will give it 100%. When there's a will, there's a way, and you'll make it happen as well.
What a great mentality to have. That's passion built inside you. That's when you've got passion in your lungs. and you just want to give that client the best experience at all costs, really. And that's great to see from a fellow wedding and events professional within our industry, setting the bar, really. Now, if I can just move on to the next question for you, if that's okay.
No
can I kind of ask you, what are your challenges when it comes to setting up at the venue? Are there strict procedures and a lot of red tape?
Well, I think that's a very, it's a broad question, obviously, because we literally work at hundreds of venues all over London, and every single venue has that little difference to the next. As I say, because we provide what we do, and we like to look at the bigger picture as the whole event in its entirety. We've done venues where they've said, look, you've got an hour to get in, and we've got a full stage production, lighting, sound, and we've got a team of this many people. I think it's all about the preparation. I was taught something from a very young age: fail to prepare, prepare to fail, and that is something that I've stuck with my whole life. And I think it really does come down to the preparation. We do the groundwork beforehand to make sure that we don't have the issues going into the event. Obviously, every event, things are sprung upon you at the time, but I think it's about how you deal with something. When something is put in your way, you figure out how you're going to get around it, and there's no two thoughts about that as well.
Well, that's right. I mean, do you find in advance, obviously, a lot of venues nowadays, they insist on seeing your pack testing and your public liability certificates and everything? Is that common at every event?
Well, I think it depends on the venue itself. We will always happily provide anything that people need. We are fully insured and everything like that, and all of our equipment is tested to the highest levels. But as we say, look, if you go onto the website and stuff like that, you'll always be able to find what you need, and if there's not, give me a call and we'll happily provide that. But we do 9 times out of 10, a venue will ask us, can we have a risk assessment, that sort of stuff. Happily they'll have it, and that's something that we do build into the event as well, is making sure that all of those necessary precautions are taken care of.
No, that's absolutely fantastic, because I hear it so much in the industry that some venues have been quite complacent with actually asking for it. But as you say, Jay, it's a good thing. You'll always carry it. You'll have it with you. You'll have it at hand if you kind of get stopped by one of the security to declare it, which is a good thing. I'm right in saying that, aren't I?
Well, I think that's it. Look, as I say, it's another preparation. We almost treat it in the same way as a speaker is going out on an event. We know that speaker is checked off. It's written that it's on the van itself. All the details attached to that. If we need to get something, the details to the venue, that will be readily available as well.
That's absolutely fantastic, and thank you for clarifying that point to our listeners here this evening. So if I can ask you another question, quite an interesting question, actually. I mean, do you have any particular markets within the industry that you would really like to develop and become more active? I know you've mentioned obviously several types of weddings, bar mitzvah. You've mentioned corporate. Is there any other real types of weddings or events you really want to develop further and get more of a name for yourself in?
Well, I think the thing is as I say, I want people to see what I do for what I do, regardless of what the event is. I've done numerous, milestone birthdays. We've done corporate events, brand launches, that sort of stuff. But for me, it's once again getting as many people to see my, what I do, and believing in what I do, and trusting me to do that. I think I mentioned at the beginning, I'm 20 years old. I've been in the industry in some way, shape or form for the last 10 years, whether that was children's entertaining and things like that. But once again, it all comes down to, people believing in you. If someone saw me at a kid's birthday, they go, I want you to do, I think you'd be great for this event, or you'd be great for that. So, in the same way, yes, weddings and things, we've got an event band as well. So that's something that we've brought on in the last year. And that's definitely something that I want to develop more after this. But yeah, definitely. I think weddings are something that, I really enjoy doing. I think it's brilliant to share that moment in someone's life with them. But as I say, I just want to be, that person that people go, look, we're having an event. I think Jay would be great for that job. Let's give him a call. That's all it comes down to for me, really.
Well, that's right. I mean, you know, we try to have in our minds that every customer is the right customer. We would like to think so and treat every customer client the same. But have you ever found sometimes where you've been on the other end of that phone and you found that you're not getting that kind of, how can I say, you're not getting that synergy between you. Does that ever happen?
I think, look, I think it's the sort of thing of, you know, as I say, I'm a people's person. So, you know, I will always try and connect with as many people as I can. I think, you know, having a network behind you of people who, you know, believe in what you do. You know, a lot of the people who call me have either seen me at an event or one of their friends have recommended to speak to me and that sort of thing. You know, yes, there's a percentage of, you know, Facebook recommendations and this sort of stuff. But you know, at the end of the day, if someone is going to go, you know, and decide to use you for their event, it's because they believe in what you do. Once again, you know, if someone doesn't think, you know, I haven't had it where someone phones me up and, you know, we talk and we have that chat and there and then they go, no, I always say, look, have a little bit of a think. If you think that we'll be a great, you know, great synergy together, then let's have a chat and let's take those next steps. But I definitely, I think it's very important, you know, to connect with people. But I wouldn't say that it's the sort of thing of, no, I won't work. You know what I mean in that respect. I like to work with as many people as possible, and I think that's the importance of what I do. You know, I don't know if I've mentioned that, you know, I was at secondary school, and then after secondary school, I went to college, and, you know, I kind of studied theatre. But I went to a school called Chicken Shed, which is an inclusive theatre company. So you've got people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different stories. And I think that's played a very important part in what allows me to do what I do today. You know, we've done events for, you know, people of all different backgrounds, all different, you know, everyone has needs and things like that. We take care of everyone. And I think that's very, very, that's something that kind of allows me to, you know, push that little bit further as well.
Oh, do you know what? That's absolutely fantastic to hear. Just listening to that, it's, you know, it's, how can I say, it really is a breath of fresh air when you listen to somebody within our industry who's as passionate as that, who wants to keep developing new ideas, who wants to move forward. You know, he's oozing with enthusiasm. That goes a long way, to be honest with you, and that should give you confidence when booking somebody who's professional of this caliber for your event. Really,
thank you very much.
That's okay. So we're just moving on to the next question. Just a few more for you, Jay. Now,
No worries.
Can I ask you, do you use social media a lot, and what platforms do you use, and which one do you find the most effective?
Well, I think it does come down to what you're trying to achieve. You know, we typically say that there's different platforms for different things. So definitely Facebook is a brilliant tool. Definitely to connect with as many people as you can. You know, Facebook is a great community. Definitely for people who are putting on events, you know, to be able to reach out to those people. A lot of people are on Facebook. We also use Instagram as well, but we typically find that that's a different kettle of fish altogether. You know, we typically find that, you know, Instagram is a great way to get 18th, 21st and things like that. Also get, you know, those kind of events that, you know, a little bit outside the box and getting a bit more creative, getting people to interact with us in that respect. But Facebook really is a tool that we encourage people to share their experiences with, you know, definitely using us. But it's got that kind of more of a community vibe. You know, you can comment on a post, you can share people, you can refer, and I think that's very important. As I say, once again, people buy from people, and that all comes down to it. You know, we want people to share their experiences working with me and my team. Whereas Instagram is a great almost photo gallery tool and video platform. But I think content is key. I think content is very important, and using it in the right way as well.
Well, that's right. It is all about content. As you say, Instagram is very visual. Facebook is more to develop your communities, to share, to get to know people. I agree with you. It's a bit, how can I put it, that Instagram is probably a little bit more impersonal, but it's still personal, so to speak, whereas Facebook is the tool really probably more to get yourself out, because you've got your business pages and everything on there, so you can promote yourself a lot more. You know, am I right in saying so?
Well, I think that's it. Look, we typically use Instagram as a way of, seeing what's new. I think Instagram is really of that, the generation of people wanting to share content. It's all about what people are getting up to. You've got the story feature, which is all about in the moment. It's all about in the moment. And we try to, share as much as we can with our stories and behind the scenes of events. But I think Facebook and Instagram, the main feed of Instagram is all about those eye candy shots and the final room shots and letting people have a little bit more inspiration to be able to have those insights into an event as well. So it's all about different applications, definitely all about different applications.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for clearing that question for our listeners there. I think they probably took quite a lot out of that, actually, what you just said. Can I ask you a very, very important question now? Now, in the industry, since this COVID-19 episode has started, basically there's been a lot of talk on the forums in relation to wedding and events insurance. That's insurances should be standard to all the clients, basically. What's your take on wedding insurance? Do you think, or event insurance for that matter, do you feel that it should be mandatory to all clients to give them an amount of coverage for the event, or if anything goes wrong or anything?
I think it really is, up until now, it's been one of those things that, I definitely say, look, if someone's putting on an event just to cover yourself, you might want to look into it. I think given the current situation as well, though, a lot of people are finding that they can't get cover because of the current situation. It's not on there and this, that, and the other. So I think, look, in most applications, it is phenomenal. If something happens, you can claim in the same way that you've got a car. We typically suggest to people you'll probably want to look into insurance. But it's that sort of thing. It all comes down to personal preference. But I do typically say to people, look, it's definitely something that you should look into. I think after this, people are going to really be, definitely looking into it a little bit more. But I also think that definitely the clauses are going to change as well. I think that's, it's all about progression, and things really are going to change after this as well. So I think it's all about assessing the situation afterwards.
No, that's absolutely right. Because it was felt only 30% actually took out wedding insurance, prior to this COVID-19. And it was a known fact that some of the insurances, if they had taken 6 months before COVID started, or a year before, anything prior to the 6 months, there were some insurances that actually included an indemnity, believe it or not, for the pandemic. But I think, as you say now, it's going to be very, very hard for anyone to find an insurance that does cover the pandemic. But it does go a long way to have the insurance in case of a death in the family, or in case of a venue closure, general venue closure, or a supplier going bust, for example. Is that right? Would you agree with that?
Well, I think that's definitely it. As I say, it's for different, you're covering yourself for different things. I think at the moment, they're not going to cover you if you go, right, let me arrange my wedding for, say, 3 months' time. You phone them up and ask for insurance for your wedding because, you want to cover yourself for COVID-19. I don't think that's going to be something that's going to be easily, able to do. But definitely it is something that I suggest to my clients to do to protect themselves in as many ways as they can, really.
Thank you very much for that, Joe. Thank you for your take on wedding insurance, which is quite an interesting point. There's a few very interesting points raised there. Again, Jay mentioned that he's a fan as well to offer clients wedding event insurance as a service, to advise it to them, and then they can obviously look into it from there. Now, moving on, can I ask you, I mean, it's a very big question now. Has COVID-19, how has it impacted your business? Has it had a massive impact on your business?
Well, I think yeah, is the answer. I think anyone in the events industry, anything in hospitality, entertainment, that sort of thing, has had a huge, definitely had a huge hit on business itself. I like to keep myself busy and thinking of new things that I can do. But obviously for the main core business that we are, obviously I started off as a DJ, we can't even provide that. So it's all about, keeping yourself busy, relevant, that sort of thing. I don't know if people, on the stream saw we did almost like a virtual clubbing experience, which we ran for about 4 weeks, every other, every fortnight. And that, we gained traction from that. That we had about 20,000 people 1 week watching. And it was all about getting people to know what we do. This is not going to be, we weren't charging for the event or anything like that. But for me, obviously my core business is me. I am my core business. I like people to believe in what I do and trust me with their event. But I kind of saw an opportunity there to kind of go, look, let's get some people who are in the events industry, who, number one, the events industry has been hit, but let's get them involved. Let's, spread the love, get people to see what we love to do, and hopefully get them to love what we're doing as well. And I think that's something that we kind of, forward thinking in that respect as well.
No, that's very, very, very interesting. That's a good stance to actually take, a very positive stance, if I may add. So just actually moving on now, if I could just ask you, what do you actually see as the future of the wedding and events industry? What's your take on the future?
I mean, it's very difficult. I think it's very difficult to foresee what's going to happen. I honestly think that this year is not going to be the year for events. It's really not. Yes, things might start clearing up, but those big events that we were, taking part in or assisting with or anything like that, I can't see them happening for the next year. Number one, for safety reasons, but also number two, because there is no rules. I don't think that at a wedding you'll be able to have that same sort of energy and feeling of people, entering a wedding and, dancing together. Without that, it becomes impersonal at that point. Another business that we're running at the moment is we're building screens. So we're building social distancing panels, as we call them. So it's socialdistancingpanels.co.uk. We're building these screens. So we, for hairdressers and offices and businesses and that sort of thing. But I wouldn't, as I say to people are going, well, why can't we use them in an event sense? I think it takes away from that, that personal feeling. Yes, they're brilliant to protect yourself in a retail environment or hairdressers or anything like that, but I think for an event it's not going to have the same effect. I think we're better off to wait it out and have that bigger, that build up inside us, that excitement to go that little bit further, and really have fun with it as well.
Yeah, no, that's point taken there, to be honest with you. You've kind of mentioned the future, how you see it as a wedding and events professional, which a lot of people here I'm sure have taken on board, and probably take something out of that. Can I just kindly ask the very last question to you now, Jay? Is there anything else you would like to add to our interview? Anything else you would like the viewers to know?
Well, look, I just want people to know that, look, the events industry at the moment and the entertainment and the hospitality is definitely on pause. For the time being, is definitely on pause. We're definitely, as a business, trying to be forward thinking, keep ourselves busy. As I say, we have all these resources behind us. So we own a 1,400 square foot warehouse that's got all different things to produce events, whether that's bars, lighting, sound, staging, furniture, video walls, whatever. We have all the resources to do that. So for me, I'm using this time to be forward thinking. And when things do start to open back up and things like that, I want people to kind of give me a call and go, look, given the current situation, what can we do? We're even down to now, we've just released that we've got, as I mentioned earlier, we've got an event band, which is FNK, which is, it's some of the industry's leading musicians on a stage, no frills, it's all about the music. In the same way that when I DJ, it's all about the music. And we're now doing doorstep performances. The same musicians that are performing on these big stages at events all over London are now coming to your doorstep to perform. Obviously social distancing measures are a given, but we're doing that as well. And I think that's something that we're kind of having a bit of fun with as well and experimenting with. But we're definitely using this time to be forward thinking. And when this all finishes, I think, expect things to be a little bit different for, in a good way, because people have had more time to, kind of go, how can we push the boat that little bit further?
I mean, summing up what Jay's actually said there is it's made some very, very, very interesting points. You know, it's given us all time to take a step back, time to think, time to develop new ideas. You know, kick lots of different ideas around, experiment. You know, but keep keep your vision positive, which is the most important thing for for us all within the industry. Jay, I want to say a very, very big thank you for taking the time to talk to our viewers this evening. Can I ask, is there anybody here online who would just like to ask Jay any questions? If so, if not now, then maybe you can just write a comment and then Jay will be able to help you. Is that okay with you?
Perfect. I'm here if you need me, and feel free to check out. We've got various different projects going on. Add me on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest. But as I say, I like to keep myself busy. At this point in time, we're really working with a lot of different businesses to assist them in this transition, whether that's social distancing panels.co.uk. That's all about helping people to get back on their feet. We're really not trying to I think there's a lot of people out there who are seeing this as an opportunity to earn a lot of money. For us, it's all about getting businesses back on their feet. And hopefully, I just want to inspire people a little bit younger than me, people a little bit older than me. I want people just to go, you know what, we're having an event. Let's call Jay and see what ideas he's got. And I think that's very important. And that's, at the end of the day, I want people to see what I love to do. And that is events and helping people, really.
Oh, do you know what? I mean, that is so good. I mean, James given us such an insight into the into event production, into AV, into his warehouse, into his other projects that he's doing. 20 years old. He's 20-year-old. So he's a future of our industry, the future of event production, the future of events, future of weddings. So definitely somebody to keep an eye on and watch the space in the future. So once again, a very, very big thank you to Jay Brent-Sands for joining us this evening, and a very big thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you very much, everybody, and keep well and safe. Thank you again.
Thank you.